Once upon a time, a little girl lived in a foreign land with her family. She came from a noble family which cared about her. In her childhood, she played various games with other children of her age. She had a lot of friends. She was happy all the time. Her main hobbies were drawing, writing, reading comic books, and riding a bicycle. Her passion lies in wanting to know and new discoveries. For her, everything was under control. One particular day, as she was riding her bicycle, she went far from home. She felt exhausted and decided to rest. She sat on a log under the arc of a tree. She fell asleep and began to dream. Her father and her were hiking. As they were walking, her father pointed to a big tree shadow which crossed their path. They were both surprised because they have never seen such a thing as that before. Whilst they were still reflecting on the tree shadow, they heard a sudden noise as the tree began falling towards them. "Run for life!" her father shouted. Suddenly, the girl woke up, terrified from her nightmare. A couple years later, her country broke into ethnic conflict, commonly known as a civil war. She separated from her entire family and found herself alone. She was really devastated, hopeless, and faithless. After that, she did not hear from them or ever seen them again. What was left for her was the terrifying sound of mortars. Everything was falling apart and she was completely miserable. After a few weeks, she found herself in a group of refugees living for a neighboring country. Fortunately, she was accepted as junior refugee in the refugee camp. Through various agencies that were helping, she was given an asylum seeker license, which gave an authority to seek an asylum and sign it to a guardian. She spent more than 7 years in the camp without her family. Eventually, she was chosen by a new country. Now, she lives in Australia happily, although she still has a place in heart for her family.
My name is Ezekiel Ntirenganya. I was born in Burundi during a social upheaval where many Burundians struggled to find a shared space in the small land torn by ethnic unrest, preventing generations from making their dreams come true. what it's like to be on a journey like mine. If you haven't been on a journey like mine, you may have to one day. I was born where I didn't choose, lived where I didn't prefer, and ended up in the land of kangaroos. And here I am now. Fleeing my country and not being able to watch what I have loved most, I felt I had completely lost my identity. When I came to Australia, the dream of playing ingoma was once again almost over. But thankfully, some of the Burundian arrivals to Melbourne did hold on to my sentiment to revive our cultural heritage. When I'm playing ingoma, I feel closer to my homeland. Its rhythmic sounds take me back, reminding me of my childhood when I went to school to join my local drumming group. It took the Burundian community in Victoria more than 2 years to make our 12 drums. This has built a sense of cultural awareness to many, a sense of pride for our Melbourne Burundian community. And being part of the drumming group has rebuilt my cultural identity and brought a joy.
Once upon a time, earth and continents, countries and people held mutual blessings until it all obliterated in a startling meltdown. The beautiful voices sing how the land we all cherished melted in a web of conflicts, keeping a crowd on hold in a state of numbness as facades were shut down. He who lives on will tell how it all started in silence and lasted in loudness, as God's creatures fell and mountains flattened. No one had a glimpse. In paroxysm people dwelt, soon on a nomadic journey. In an unthinkable way, hopes faded in a nick of time. Optimism shrunk to the slimmest. In a state of tremor, people dwelt. It seems to last a lifetime. And then, a Samaritan appeared, like the Bible story of the Red Sea. Who'd want to understand how the refugee life treated beings with endless counting of the stars under a shower, through a shrouded plastic roof, in a state of perpetual misery, before the Tower of Hope was rebuilt? He who lives on will praise how magic that flight here felt, that which sought to eradicate fear, the one that restored my dignity in a state of laughter for an endless time. Psychologists explained better how a decade of misery takes a century to dissipate. So, heads are rolled up again and faces smile instantly while new life refills hope. He who lives on will tell how deep down in our souls, where war left scars, peace was proclaimed. Where fear dominated, confidence has emerged. Where oppression dwelt, dignity has taken over. Do you still wonder? Humanity is the key.
Mahoro is a newcomer to Melbourne. He is overwhelmed by the new lifestyle, which he finds difficult to understand. He knows no one. No one knows him. How is he going to cope with this situation? The anxiety of waiting. Waiting with anxiety. Stressed. Anxious. No one to talk to. Hello?
Good morning, sir. This is David from Rain Guard Insurance. How are you doing today?
Urinde.
We've got a special on this month where we're offering
Ushaka
30%
iki?
off our premium package. I think it's a
Eh?
great deal, sir.
Wewe nani? Eh?
Sorry, sir. Do you speak English?
Qui es-tu?
Is there anyone there who can speak English?
Ah, no English. Vako. Ah, no English. Deka.
Nushaka ko tuvugana dupfa iki?
Hey, wewe uri inde?
Jewe ndi mugenzi. None we nturi mahoro?
Ni jewe? None uba hehe? Uri Umurundi? Koko?
Ego cyane ndi Murundi. Tuzovugana neza nitwahura.
Utegereza gushika iwanje. Ariko ndahiriwe.
Kaze. Ni wewe gamuge?
Turongeye kubonana. Amahoro gamaho. Amakuru maki.
Nukura amakuru ni meza. Ndahiriwe pe. Ndakwereke wa muhungu. Naricaye ngaha. Iki gisagara kirangura. Ndabona n'umuntu numwe yose rukako. imana ingira ibitangaza.
Warahaboneye ariko rero ntaco washitse wicare wituririye umererwe neza ibiryo biriho imodoka ziriho abagenzi uzobaronka ni benshi
ndahiriwe pe enda ingo uje kuramutsa abandi mu nzu.
Urakoze cyane.
Unajua mimi nakuabudu ni wewe Yesu, ni wewe mama, ni wewe Maria, ni wewe Alpha, ni wewe Omega, mimi wako. Hebu tuache mafikirio, wewe ndio mwamba. Hebu tuache wasiwasi, wewe ndio wangu. Hebu niguse roho yangu, mimi nakupenda. Hebu nishike mkono wangu, ewe Mola Yesu. Ona maisha ya leo, kweli tutafanya nini? Sote tunaangamia. Baba, mimi nakuomba, pokea sifa na baraka, ewe mwamba wetu Yesu. Wewe ndio nakuomba roho safi, imani jameni. Unajua Baba, wewe ndio wangu. Unajua leo takuhitaji. Unajua sote takutamani. Unajua mimi nakuabudu. Ni wewe Yesu, ni wewe mama, ni wewe.
They say life is a journey. For my life, I've needed good shoes. Come and walk with me. Before Civil War, Burundi was a great place to live. I had a happy childhood playing with a lot of friends. My family worked hard with farming, and my father imported many goods from China and sold them in Burundi. To get to school, I walked 10 kilometers. After school, I walked another 10 kilometers home. 100 kilometers a week. Then in 1993, civil war broke out in Burundi and everything changed. It became an impossible life. I had to escape the country with my wife and 2 children. The only way to do this was to work 15 days. For our security, we could only walk at night. During the day, we hid under bushes away from people, fearing being seen. It took 5 days of walking to reach the Nile River. The Nile divides Burundi in half. Crossing Nile River is dangerous. It is full of crocodiles, hippos, and poison snakes. Crossing at night made it even more dangerous. We had to find someone who could guide us across. We gave them the little money we had. We formed a human chain and held on tight. We managed to make it to the other side. Then we had another 10 days of walking to reach the Tanzania border. After we crossed into Tanzania, our problem and fear did not end. We had another 100 miles to walk into Tanzania. Finally, we see some plastic sheeting and some people come out. and they say they are from UNHCR. We are here to take care of you. That was the start of 10 years living in refugee camps. We were given a single piece of 4 by 3 plastic sheeting, which became our home for next 9.5 years. We were happy to be away from civil war, but life was still hard. We depended upon another for everything: food, shelter, protection, everything. In a refugee camp, you have not done a crime and you don't know your time and you cut off from the world. There was a lot of death in the camp. That was very hard on us, emotionally and psychologically. Finally, after many interviews, examination, and checks, we were accepted by a new country, Australia. I didn't even know where it was. To me, it was just another refugee camp. But when I get here, realize the change of life for me. Our first impression of Australia was everything looked same. We couldn't even try the food because it looked strange. We finally arrived in Melbourne and no one was there to meet us. We walked around pointing our plastic bag saying, "Refugee, refugee." Someone called an interpreter and at last we can communicate. We are taken to our new home and shown how to use a stove and cook. After that, I began to walk again, walking around my street, 2 street, 5 street, to the shops, learning about Australia. To be in this country is an opportunity to know the world as we live in a multicultural society. I am now settled and starting to overcome the hardship. I can work toward my future and my family's future.
My name is Godfrey Bigendavi. I'm Burundian but was born in Rwanda refugee camp after my parents fled Burundi in 1972. I was born into a camp, grew up in camp, and became an adult in camps. For 29 years, life in refugee camp defined my existence. I want to share with you what it was like to live in refugee camps. I lived in 6 different camps in 2 countries, Rwanda and Tanzania. I was shuffled around camps without notice. It was hard to go from one camp to another, as we had to make our own way. It took me 3 months to walk from Rwanda to Tanzania. That was the hardest journey to take. All the camps were organized by the UNHCR. They provide a 15 by 5 meter rectangle plot for families of up to 6 to live. Every family was given one piece of plastic sheeting 5 by 4 meters in size to build their shelters. These were called blende. This housed up to 6 people. Each blende was separated by ½ meter. We slept on grass, and if there was no grass, we slept on the ground. Everyone had to sleep under the same 4 by 5 plastic sheeting. The blende provided little protection. The UNHCR gave out food supplies every fortnight. Every person was given 5.75 kilograms to last 2 weeks. This included 4 kilograms of maize, 1.2 kilograms of beans, 300 ml of cooking oil, 200 grams fortified wheat flour, and 50 grams of salt. This had to last 2 weeks. It was very hard to stay in a family when they are hungry and you cannot give them enough food to survive. We were forced by starvation to go out of the camps to work for food to feed our family at least once a day. Every camp had a 4-kilometer exclusion zone that the UNHCR controlled. Refugees were not allowed to go beyond this zone. We lost many people who went beyond this 4-kilometer zone. Within the 4 kilometers, we had to find everything we need to cook. We took off the top of the gallon with a knife and hammer to make our cooking pot. Gallons were also used as water containers. Nothing was wasted. Between one blender and another, there was only ½ meter, which contributed to the spread of diseases and caused the death of a large number of refugees. After 29 years, we finally got a chance to start the process of resettlement. Now we are here in Australia, praying for those who are still there waiting to be saved. Our life in Australia has been very amazing. Here I have right. There's no hunger, no discrimination, nothing. You can go wherever you want and express your ideas. Enjoy and share your cultures, your beliefs with different people from all over the world. We are now relaxing, and Australia is a solution.